Welcome back on this Wednesday morning. It's time now for the one thing I've been waiting for all morning long, Patel It Like It Is, where Dr. Alok Patel shares health advice on the topics that matter most to you. Talking today about social media. Here's Dr. Patel with the impact it could have on teens.
I'm not going to use social media until I'm 30 years old. Yeah, I know that's wishful thinking for this dad, especially because 97% of teens use the internet every single day, and a lot of that is on social media. Social media is great for education, entertainment, connecting with loved ones, finding resources, and I love memes. But reality bites, and here are some ways that social media can actually be harmful for teens. And yes, I understand the irony of using social media to tell you about the dangers of social media. Social media may increase a teen's risk of depression, anxiety, eating disorders, and other mental health illnesses, and this should raise alarm bells because we already have a mental health epidemic among young people. I mean, for some, seeing a filtered picture of some influencer on a yacht is not exactly great for self-esteem. And we should talk about sleep, or lack thereof. You know, sleep makes an appearance in almost every video I make. Anyway, scrolling on one of these at night is obviously not great when you're trying to get shut-eye. And according to a survey, at least 60% of kids take their phones with them to bed. And don't roll your eyes at me. I know plenty of adults who do the same.
You do?
Hey, whoa, hey. They may impair social skills. Adolescent brains are in a critical stage of development as teens are figuring out their identities, values, and how to connect with their fellow Homo sapien, and social media can mess with this process in ways we don't even fully understand yet. This is why the Surgeon General said that 13 was too young for kids to be on the apps. And I agree. And then there's cyberbullying. A majority of teens who use social media have been the target of online harassment at least once. You've seen it, the racist, misogynistic, homophobic, outright nasty rants. Young people are exposed to all of this. I'm not saying ban social media, there's plenty of positives, but we need to do a better job of looking out for our children and teens. And parents, check in with your kids and their social media usage. Encourage them to build real social connections and lead by example. Because we can't always be glued to our phones if we don't want our kids to be. Ooh.
And Dr. Alok Patel joins me live to tell it like it is. Dr. Patel, I am so glad to be talking to you because I always enjoy talking to you, but your social media game is top notch. So I think that you are uniquely perfected to talk about this. Social media, the world uses social media so often, and it's not all bad, as you mentioned. But what are some of the positives, and how can teens benefit from using it? How can we cultivate that as parents?
Well, Janae, first off, that comment coming from you about me having a good social media game, it means the world, so thank you. But I'm glad that you brought up the positive social media can have. I will tell you that there are multiple studies out there showing that a large percentage of teens and people living with chronic disease get health information from social media. There's also the ability for teens to connect with groups they may not otherwise talk to, expanding education, gaining awareness about the world, maintaining relationships with family members and old friends, and also a lot of mental health resources are now finding their way on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. And I can tell you anecdotally, as a pediatrician, I have a lot of patients who get specific information about their conditions and sexual health, for example, from social media. So we can't ignore all the positives that it can have.
You know, Dr. Patel, I've actually been talking with friends about that because I feel like my newsfeed, it's so much about conscious parenting and mental health, like ways to change your perspective, all of these positive things. But on the flip side of that, you know, this is why moderation is important. What does the research tell us about excessive social media use and the effects that that could have on all of our mental health, but especially for teens?
For sure. And a lot of it is unknown in terms of what this could mean long term. Now, Janae, even before the pandemic, the rate of depression among adolescents had nearly doubled over the previous 10 years. We saw that CDC report about nearly 60% of teenage girls feeling hopeless. This is at a time when social media use is sky high. So there are a lot of links between social media use and potential increases in mental health illnesses, such as depression and anxiety. We have two very concerning recent findings, one of them being a brain imaging study showing that the part of the brain in young adolescents that triggers social feedback, meaning really caring what the world thinks about you, may be triggered from social media use, excessive social media use. This also may be even worse in adolescent developing brains around the age of 11 or 12. I mean, kids are living in this era of cultural comparison, instant gratification, and it creates this feedback loop in our reward system, and it can be very addicting.
Oh my gosh, and that IG, the Instagram, it goes right to that instant gratification too that you're talking about. What are some of the warning signs of social media addiction or overuse that parents can hone on in and be on the lookout for?
I think the boldest one that you will see across resources is that if your child or teen all of a sudden becomes disinterested in usual activities or real life interactions, they're spending excessive times, they're having social withdrawal, it's disturbing their sleep, or they have mood changes. These all may sound like signs of mental health illness or other types of addiction, and they can very well be seen with excessive social media use. We can't ignore the fact that children may also be at risk on social media with having a digital footprint out there and giving out sensitive information. So there are a lot of warning signs that parents can be on the lookout for.
And Dr. Patel, we talk about what to look out for, but let's talk solutions, because we've also seen studies that show when parents are taking their kids, especially pediatric admissions in the emergency room for mental health conditions or illnesses, that a lot of times they have to go back because the resources aren't there. What can we do to help and find solutions?
Well, one thing that parents should always feel comfortable doing is asking for help. There are certain specialists out there, such as psychiatrists, mental health professionals who deal with addiction in many formats, who can talk to you about ways to address your teen, especially the underlying use of why they need social media so much. Go online and try to find a family media plan, such as with the American Academy of Pediatrics. And taking a break is always great, such as what Selena Gomez did, or my toddler's favorite influencer, Miss Rachel, and lead by example, parents.
Oh, and so many people are talking about Miss Rachel. Dr. Patel, you are so fantastic. Thank you so much.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.